We need an experienced leader to hit the ground running on day one as a strong Conservative Premier. We can't afford any on-the-job training, and I'm offering a lifetime of experience from being head of the Taxpayers Federation to senior minister in the national government to having led this project of unity over the past 14 months to be that experienced leader. Frankly, Mr. Jean a year ago was saying that this whole unity thing wouldn't happen. It couldn't happen. He said my plan was gamesmanship. I'm thankful that he finally saw the light and came on board the unity train. We got this done with 95% support of the members. But if I had not stepped forward over a year ago with this plan to unite, we would still be divided. We'd be risking a second NDP term through vote splitting in the next election.
Albertans as a whole are looking for a positive message from this party. They're looking for change, and they want this party to make sure that it reflects their social values so we can focus on the economy. That's why we branded our campaign the New Blue, and it's why we're resonating. We're the fastest growing campaign out there right now. We need to get back to having local decisions being made, particularly when it comes to healthcare. I mean, that heart attack facilities that are needed in Red Deer are critical. And if it was up to local decision making, that would have been done already. So we need to get back to making sure that decisions are being made that can help build our communities. I mean, I don't have a long political back record. I mean, I offer this party a fresh start and the ability to turn the page on some of the divisive social issues of the past. If we can turn the page on that, then we can hold the NDP accountable on the economy, which is where Albertans want us to focus in the next election campaign. It also gives us the opportunity to engage the millennials, the younger Albertans that are looking to this party, wondering what its values are. If we get those values right, I think the future for this party is amazingly bright.
We would repeal many of the taxes and many of the regulations that have been brought forward. We would try to manage our economy in a much better fashion, which means coming back to balance. We'd come back to balance in 3 years, and we'd do so with the littlest amount of pain that we possibly can have, but at the same time we would restructure our organizations, our government. We are 20% more expensive than any, even British Columbia, for instance, $2,700 per man, woman, and child here in Alberta, more expensive than British Columbia, and we know they get better results in their health care and some of their other services. So let's find the efficiencies, let's get back and truly serve Albertans. I would recommend deciding who you want as a premier first. And if you look at the backgrounds of each of the candidates and what they bring to the table, I believe I bring the common sense, practical decision making of a person that's owned and operated a dozen businesses here in Alberta and employed hundreds of Alberta families, and somebody also that litigated in the courts for 10 years and was a lawyer for 25 years and has worked in both levels of government, both federal and provincial, and the only person here that's actually elected as an MLA and has been a leader of a political party that has sat in the legislature. So my experience is enough that I think that most people will recognize that I'm the right person for the job, and more than anything, I think that Albertans recognize I'm passionate because I love Alberta and I'm an Albertan.
We're asking for the trust of Albertans to run a $55 billion budget right now. We've got a $10.5 billion deficit, and yet at least Brian can't seem to manage a $2 million budget. He didn't communicate with caucus. A number of the MLAs in caucus aren't supporting him, and that's a big contributing reason why. And the lack of transparency that he's given anyone about the issue, in essence kind of making up some of these various stories as to the reasons why, just don't add up. Well, the number one thing I think we really need to do is focus on working with our executive and our constituency associations to develop our grassroots-driven policy base. That, I think, is going to stitch together the two legacy parties and get the buy-in from the membership and from Albertans in general to formulate what our priorities are as our policies that we will take into the next election. I don't think bringing the party together is accomplished by 101 different policies being dictated by the leader.